is your WNBA Eastern Conference Player of the Week for the third time this season. Now, I believe injury has kept her from receiving 2 of those awards. Otherwise, it could be more than just these 3 times. Caitlin Clark this past week, 25.7 points per game, 53.7% from the field, 9 assists per game, and
25.5 points a night, 9 dimes, 5 boards, and she's knocking down shots at almost 54%. That's not just a solid stretch. That's Caitlin Clark kicking the door open and telling the whole league, the MVP race just got a second heavyweight.
If Caitlin Clark keeps putting numbers like this on the board, if the Indiana Fever continue to win, the conversations between who is going to be MVP of this league between A'ja Wilson and Caitlin Clark, those conversations are going to get very, very spicy. Paige Beckers kicked out of the conversation. Olivia Miles kicked out of the conversation. Whoever else kicked out of the conversation. It's literally going to be just 2 juggernauts going head to head.
This is where it gets messy, because now the numbers are forcing a fight that a lot of people were hoping to dodge. For most of this season, A'ja Wilson has worn the MVP crown like it was already hers. And honestly, she's earned every bit of that. But here's the thing about MVP races, they don't sit still. They shift when someone catches fire. They shift when a team starts climbing the standings. And right now, the gap between the favorite and the challenger is shrinking fast. Clark has hit the point in the season where every single game means 2 things. 1, the easy part, Indiana needs the wins. 2, the harder part, she needs a case so strong that nobody can wave it off as hype, ratings, or fan noise. And stick around, because there's one detail coming up that could decide this whole race. It's got almost nothing to do with Clark's stat line, and everything to do with where Indiana ends up in the standings.
The other person that won Player of the Week, the other person that's going to be in the conversation with her, A'ja Wilson, 32, 12, and 4.7. These numbers head to head, it's going to go down to the... Caitlin Clark needs to continue to put together weeks like the weeks she just had and put some pressure on these media members. The Indiana Fever are going to need to continue to win, and then that conversation is going to get very, very, very...
And that comparison right there tells you exactly how high the bar is. Because A'ja Wilson dropping 32 points, 12 boards, and pushing 5 assists a night. That's not normal. That's absurd. Let's be clear, nobody's shrinking Wilson's greatness just to boost Clark up. Wilson is an elite scorer, a rebounding machine, a defensive wall, and the whole reason her team is built to contend. But Clark, she's applying pressure in a totally different way. She's not just filling up one box on the stat sheet. She's running the entire offense. Every possession in Indiana can start because of her scoring threat, her vision, or just the panic defenders feel the second she crosses half court. When a guard is putting up 25 and 9 on efficient shooting, you're not just watching what she scores. You're watching every shot she sets up for her teammates, every defense scrambling to adjust, every decision the other team makes before she even gets near the paint. That's why this one hot week matters way more than a Player of the Week trophy. It's a preview. If Clark keeps anywhere near this pace, and Indiana keeps winning, this stops being a does she belong in the conversation debate. It becomes a much bigger question. How much should team success outweigh individual brilliance?
The responses, folks, this is a 2 in a row. 2 Player of the Weeks in a row for Caitlin Clark. Pacers, WNBA, some fan reaction as well. Take a look at Stephanie White.
We got an Eastern Conference Player of the Week.
Yeah, fix those shorts, dude. She said fix those shorts, man. Fix those shorts.
This right here, this award, is Clark's 3rd Eastern Conference Player of the Week nod this season. And get this, it's back-to-back. That's exactly the kind of momentum an MVP push needs. Because these weekly trophies aren't random. They build a trail. They turn separate games into one big story. Not a one-night explosion, not a lucky matchup, but week after week of control over different opponents. Now pay attention to the room when this gets announced. Stephanie White's smiling. Teammates are reacting. Cameras are catching every single face. And here's why that matters. The Fever are living under a microscope most teams never deal with. A normal facial expression can get twisted into jealousy. A slow clap turns into a conspiracy theory. Somebody glances away for 2 seconds, and suddenly people are calling it proof the locker room's falling apart. Now, we've got to be careful here. A 3-second clip does not prove what a coach or a teammate is actually thinking. There could be 100 harmless reasons someone looks serious for one moment. But fans are reading into every reaction because Indiana's whole hierarchy has been the hot topic all season. Who runs the offense? Who gets the shots? Does everything flow through Clark, through Boston, or somewhere in between? At this point, every single coaching decision gets treated like a public vote on Clark's status.
Is the look on Brianne January's face while she's clapping? It's the damn it. Kelsey. Man, I tried my hardest to get Kelsey. I tried my hardest for Kelsey Mitchell. Damn. Folks, you take a look at the close-up of, oh man, this ain't a good look. This is... And with this coach in the background, turning back saying, damn, you can't even clap. Coach looking around, man, you can't even be happy for her, huh? Brianne January is just thinking, all right, how do I get it?
Here's something nobody expected to be talking about this deep into the season: a coach's facial expression. One clip is going around online. An assistant coach barely reacts while everyone else around her is smiling and cheering. And within minutes, people online are calling it proof of tension in that locker room. Let's be honest here. Nobody can read someone's private feelings off 3 seconds of video. That's not evidence. That's guessing. But here's the thing. The reaction blowing up online is telling us something real, even if the clip itself proves nothing. It's telling us that Clark's fans don't fully trust their own team to use her the right way. And that frustration didn't come from nowhere. They've watched it happen, game after game. Clark gets the ball, attacks downhill, and the whole offense speeds up and gets dangerous. Then, a few possessions later, she's parked on the perimeter, the ball stops moving, and suddenly Indiana looks slow and easy to guard. So when fans see even a harmless look on someone's face, they don't see a coach. They see a symbol of everything that frustrates them. And that frustration isn't really about clapping. It's about control. They believe this team is a completely different animal when Clark is allowed to push the pace, attack before the defense sets, and force decisions early. Take that away from her. Turn her into a standstill shooter, and you've basically bought a race car and refused to take it out of first gear. Now here's where this connects straight back to the MVP race. Because voters don't just look at stats, they look at the system those stats came from. One superstar plays in a setup built entirely around her strengths. The other, according to her fans, is putting up historic numbers in spite of a system that doesn't always maximize her. That doesn't automatically hand her the trophy, but it changes the whole conversation about what she's overcoming to get these numbers in the first place. So let's actually look at the last 5 games. Head-to-head, guard versus guard. One posted 113 points, the other posted 121. One had 28 assists, the other had 45. And in terms of pure efficiency, points per shot, one was sitting around 133, while the other was up near 178. So if anyone's out there claiming a certain young guard has already passed Clark this season, I don't know what games they've been watching. Look, 5 games don't erase an entire season. Nobody should crown or bury a player off one short stretch. But when people start making bold declarations about who's ahead of who, recent head-to-head numbers matter. And the real headline from that stretch isn't the scoring gap. It's the 17 assist gap. That's the number that shows why judging Clark on points alone completely misses the point. She can go score for score with elite scorers, and then stack an entire extra layer of offense on top of it through pure playmaking. And even assists don't tell the full story. They don't count the open shot a teammate clanks, or the pass that draws a foul, or the advantage created 3 seconds before the assist even happens. Some are even arguing Clark could be averaging something closer to 11 assists a night if her teammates were simply finishing at a normal rate. That's impossible to prove. Every star in this league loses assists to missed shots. But watch enough Indiana basketball and you'll see it for yourself. She's constantly delivering the kind of pass that should be an easy bucket. Her assist total already looks great. It still doesn't fully capture how good those looks actually are. Now zoom out and look at the entire MVP field. Every serious name in the conversation, ranked across the categories that actually define offensive value. In pure scoring, one player is running away with it. No argument there. She is having an absolute monster year. But flip to assists per game, and suddenly it's a completely different name sitting at number 2 in the whole league. Flip to points created, and that same name jumps to first. Flip to points created per minute, first again. That's the moment this race stops looking like 6 or 7 candidates and starts looking like 2. One player builds her case on pure two-way dominance, scoring, rebounding, protecting the rim, locking down her matchup every night. The other builds her case on offensive creation at a level almost no guard in this league can touch. And that phrase, points created, is the key to this whole debate. Picture a guard scoring 25 a night while also directly setting up another 20-plus points for her team. That means her fingerprints are on nearly half her team's total offense, before you even count the secondary assists or the pressure she creates just running down the floor. That's exactly why raw points per game can be misleading. It can make two players look closer or further apart than their actual impact really is. And that raises the hardest question any MVP voter has to answer. Is value the total two-way package? Is it whoever your team would collapse without? Is it the best player on the best team? Or is it the engine who reshapes the entire offense the moment she touches the ball? There's no clean formula. Every single voter weighs these things differently, and most work backward from whatever they already believe matters most. Which is exactly why staying close isn't enough for the challenger. If her team can't climb into a top seed, she may need a statistical gap wide enough to make the standings irrelevant. Because right now, records act like a credibility multiplier in this debate. The same stat line hits differently depending on where the team sits in the standings. Then there's the scoring guard putting up massive numbers of her own, a name some are trying to squeeze into this MVP conversation too. But look closer, and her value comes almost entirely from one place: buckets. She's not rebounding at a high level. She's not setting up teammates at a high level. She scores, and she scores extremely well. That's valuable. It forces defenses to respect more than one threat and keeps them from loading everything onto the main event. But an MVP case needs more than one elite skill. It needs someone shaping multiple parts of the game at once. In fact, during this exact stretch, that scoring guard actually outscored Clark, 31 points a night to 25.7. If this were purely a scoring race, that settles it right there. But Clark backed her 25.7 with 9 assists, 5 rebounds, and shooting numbers over 53%. Her job description that week was simply bigger. And that brings us to the real crux of this whole thing: the tactical fight happening inside the offense itself. There are real basketball reasons to run plays through the big post player at the elbow. She's a skilled passer, she can punish smaller defenders, and that spot creates cutting lanes. Nobody's saying she shouldn't touch the ball. The issue is what happens when every possession starts there, slow and predictable, with the star guard standing and watching. The defense gets to breathe. It no longer has to worry about her attacking downhill or firing a live pass before the rotation's even ready. Balance in an offense doesn't mean equal touches for everyone. It means everyone's strengths working together. The screener screening, the scorer attacking gaps, and the primary engine deciding where the whole defense is weakest. When those pieces click, this team is scary. When they're fighting over who controls the possession, the whole identity gets blurry, and that shows up directly in the box score. There's even a rebounding wrinkle here. This roster doesn't appear to have one true, dominant rebounder, so some of that burden keeps landing on the primary guard herself. Which raises a real question. What happens if a young big man gets extended minutes and proves she can control the glass on her own? Because if someone else can lock down rebounding, the star guard gets to leak out in transition instead of crashing the boards, and that alone could unlock faster, more explosive offense for this entire team. Now, to be fair, this isn't one-sided. MVP isn't an award for who's more exciting or who sells more tickets. If the other superstar keeps dominating on both ends, outscoring, out-rebounding, and locking down her matchup while leading a stronger team, picking her wouldn't be some injustice. It would just be the numbers speaking. So the challenger's job from here is simple and brutal. Fewer turnovers, more efficiency, more wins. Enough of them that the standings argument disappears completely. One incredible week opens a door. A full month like this could blow this race wide open. So here's the real question, and I want you to actually answer it, not scroll past it. If the season ended today, and one superstar is leading the stronger team while dominating as a scorer, rebounder, and defender, does she deserve the MVP? Or does the other guard's total offensive creation, her efficiency, her playmaking, and everything she's doing for her team make her the more valuable player? Drop your answer below. Tell me exactly what you think should matter most when it comes to picking an MVP. And if you want the next update on this race the second the numbers move again, make sure you're subscribed, because this fight is only getting started.